The final chapter of the Harry Potter saga was a breathtaking blend of practical effects, digital wizardry, and jaw-dropping performances. But behind all the spectacle lies an incredible filmmaking journey that brought J.K. Rowling's vision to life. But how did they create all this? In this video, we're diving deep into the behind-the-scenes secrets of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. So grab your wands and follow us behind the scenes of one of cinema's most magical finales. Let's start with one of the most thrilling sequences when Harry, Hermione, disguised as Bellatrix Lestrange, and Griphook the Goblin ride the Gringotts bank trolley to Bellatrix's vault. Now on screen, it looks like they're plunging deep into an underground maze of twisting rails and roaring waterfalls, but behind the scenes, almost none of that was real. The actors actually sat in a perfect replica of the trolley, but instead of speeding through a dark cavern, it was mounted on a hydraulic gimbal rig inside a massive green screen studio. This rig could tilt, shake, and jolt in every direction, simulating the violent movement of a runaway cart. The surrounding tunnels, spiraling tracks, and even the dizzying speed were all computer-generated later. Using advanced 3D modeling, the VFX team designed the entire Gringotts track and then matched the cart's motion perfectly to that digital world, making it feel like a real high-speed ride into the depths of wizarding danger. From Gringotts, we move to the chaos of Hogwarts under siege. During the Great Battle, the school looks like it's been torn apart, with collapsing walls, blasted courtyards, and plumes of smoke filling the air. Production designer Stuart Craig and his team didn't rely solely on CGI. They built partially destroyed Hogwarts sets on location, complete with crumbling stone archways and debris. These real sets were then extended with digital matte paintings and CGI to create the full-scale destruction we see on screen. Before shooting began, the entire battle was pre-visualized, meaning the filmmakers created an animated blueprint of every moment. This allowed them to choreograph both practical explosions and digital effects with precision. Some blasts were 100% practical. The crew set off real pyrotechnics right in front of the actors for authentic visuals. The rubble-strewn areas where Harry, Hermione, Ron, and the other students run, dodge, and fight were also built physically on set. Later, the VFX team added giant spiders, magical curses, and collapsing towers into those very same shots, blending real performances with fantasy chaos. During the battle, we also see towering creatures, including one called the Unidentified Giant. Surprisingly, these weren't purely digital creations. They were played by real actors wearing heavy prosthetic makeup and oversized costumes. Their scenes were shot entirely against a green screen, and then the VFX team digitally scaled them up, enhanced their facial features, and placed them into the heart of the battle. The result? They looked like massive, terrifying forces stomping through the Hogwarts grounds. One of the most intense moments comes inside the Room of Requirement, where Harry, Ron, and Hermione search for Ravenclaw's diadem, only to be confronted by Draco Malfoy and his cronies. The junkyard version of the room was actually a gigantic practical set built at Leavesden Studios. Piles of prop, old furniture, dusty books, trophies, broken brooms fill the space, creating the feeling of centuries of hidden objects. When Crabbe, changed to Goyle in the film, unleashes the cursed fire, Fiend Fire, the room erupts into a magical inferno. This wasn't a real fire after all. Instead, the flames, shaped into writhing dragons and serpents, were crafted entirely with CGI using advanced VFX tools like Maya and Houdini. Real fire could never achieve that monstrous, almost living quality. Throughout the film, Voldemort is almost never seen without his deadly companion Nagini, who is far more than just a snake, given that she holds a piece of his soul. On set, however, Nagini wasn't there at all. There was no physical snake prop, not even a rubber stand-in. She was created entirely in CGI from start to finish, meaning every slither, hiss, and strike was the work of digital artists who animated her to feel both realistic and menacing. The climatic battle between Harry Potter and Voldemort, their last battle in the courtyard, is a seamless blend of practical performances and visual effects. While Daniel Radcliffe and Ralph Fiennes physically acted out their duel on set, many of the more supernatural moments, like Voldemort's disintegration, magical blasts, and the way their spells collide in mid-air, were achieved entirely in post-production VFX. In raw footage, you'd see them fighting against a backdrop of green screens, with the final layer of magic added later to create one of the most iconic final battles in cinematic history. As I mentioned earlier, the Grand Hogwarts set was a magical blend of practical craftsmanship and digital wizardry, but the question is, how exactly did the makers bring this colossal environment to life? In the behind-the-scenes footage, we see a set maker working on a crumbled section of the castle wall. To create that authentic broken stone effect, he uses lightweight foam, carefully dipping each jagged piece into glue, then layering it with dust and soil to give that aged, battle-worn look. This meticulous work didn't stop at just one section. Multiple areas of Hogwarts were designed this way, a mix of real props and carefully disguised dummy structures. Around the set, green screens were strategically placed, allowing visual effects teams to later enhance the destruction digitally. After weeks of tireless detailing, the result was breathtaking. On screen, we see a Hogwarts battered by war, every crack, stone, and shadow telling the story of a fierce battle. One of the movie's most electrifying moments comes during the Battle of Hogwarts, when Harry grabs Voldemort and the two soar through the air, locked in combat. To bring this iconic aerial fight to life, both Daniel Radcliffe and Ralph Fiennes were strapped into harness rigs suspended midair. Behind them, a massive green backdrop replaced the real castle so that CGI artists could later add the sweeping Hogwarts scenery. Even though the actors weren't actually flying, their intense facial expressions, gripping hand movements, and urgent delivery of lines made the sequence feel dangerously real. And then there's the daring escape from Gringotts Bank, when Harry, Hermione, and Ron flee on the back of a dragon, eventually plunging into a rushing river. But here's the movie magic. The river you see on screen, it wasn't real. In fact, it was filmed in a large indoor water tank built inside the studio. The actors performed their jump and splash in this controlled environment, and later, VFX artists seamlessly merged the footage with a digitally created wide river and sprawling green landscape. The very next moment, when the trio emerges from the water and changes into dry clothes in a sunny open field, was also filmed entirely indoors. The field, horizon, and the sky that you see behind them were all added digitally in post-production. One of the most visually striking parts of Hogwarts in the films is the grand circular staircase area, a vast cylindrical space where students can be seen coming and going, surrounded by spiral staircases that seem to stretch endlessly upward and downward. But this magical vision was far from real. On set, the filmmakers constructed only a single physical floor of the staircase at the studio, complete with a real banister and steps for the actors to walk on. It was here that the students' casual movements and passing moments were filmed. The rest, the dizzying height, the multiple floors, and the sweeping circular staircases fading into the distance, were created entirely with green screens and CGI. This perfect blend of tangible set design and digital artistry convinced audiences that they were truly standing in Hogwarts. Later in the film, Harry seeks crucial information from Helena Ravenclaw's ghost, an ethereal and haunting moment in the story. To create Helena's ghostly appearance, every single shot involving her was performed in a full green screen environment. The actress delivered her lines and gestures in isolation with no Hogwarts background around her. Later, the VFX team digitally blended her transparent figure into Harry's live-action scenes, adding subtle mist, faded edges, and spectral lighting, transforming her into a believable spirit that feels like she's truly drifting through the castle walls. Before we move on, let's turn our attention to another unforgettable set of characters, the Goblins. These short, sharp-featured bankers run Gringotts Wizarding Bank, and while they might look like pure CGI creations, they were actually played by real human actors. Every goblin went through an intense prosthetic makeup process, a transformation that took nearly 4 to 5 hours per actor. Special effects makeup artists designed custom latex facial masks, pointed fingers, sharp teeth, and piercing contact lenses for each goblin. Even their hands and nails were given unique prosthetic designs, and they wore tight-fitted costumes to make their bodies appear smaller and hunched. The combination of skilled acting, heavy makeup, and clever costume work brought the goblins to life in a way that was both realistic and unsettling, a true testament to old-school filmmaking craft. And just like that, the magic of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 comes alive not through spells, but through the dedication of countless artists, technicians, and actors. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the magic behind Harry Potter, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss more behind-the-scenes secrets from your favorite films. Share this video with a fellow Potterhead, and let's keep the magic alive together.